Hey everybody, welcome back to a video about Bugsnax. In last week's video I said I was taking a break from playing sad games, and this week that held very true. But this game started with a couple questions. Why is a game that really looks like it would be a children's game top tagged on Steam as psychological horror? What is that? All these questions and more will be answered in this video. I hope you enjoy, and please feel free to like and subscribe if you do, and please leave a comment asking for other games you would like to see me 100% as well. I've tried to edit around it, but for some reason this game just ran horribly on my PC, which doesn't make any sense because I'm way over minimum spec, and I tried uninstalling it, reinstalling it on different drives, and updating my drivers, but it was still happening. If I was less excited to play this game, then I probably would have given up on it, but I persevered for those sweet, sweet snacks. The game begins with our character piloting some sort of giant airship towards some sort of island, but we get a little bit of a snag when we're hit by some sort of flying creature and knocked to the ground. We begin to press forward a little bit, but our bad luck with this flying creature continues as we walk out onto a little bridge, and then we take a little bit of a tumble, and we hit our head, and the screen goes black, so that's where we're at. So after that, we get a little bit of a cut back to 2 weeks before our current moment. So we are a reporter, and we received a video message from somebody named Elizabeth Megafig, who has moved to this new island in hopes of finding and collecting all of these rare Bugsnax that they've just discovered. Which is all well and good, but where do we come in? Well, we're a reporter, and they want to get a report written about it and all of the great things that Bugsnax have to offer, so we've been pitched this idea, and it's been sent to us, and now we're talking to our boss about it. But our boss isn't super receptive. Apparently our character has had a bit of a reputation of wasting resources going out and doing missions that aren't super profitable for the newspaper, but this is the one. And our boss tells us if we go for it we're fired, but how can we pass up these beautiful snacky boys? So back in the present, we press just a little bit more forward and we find a guy named Philbo laying on the ground who seems to have confused us with Lizbert. And he seems to be having a little bit of trouble standing up. He mentions that he's super hungry, so we need to go get him some food. That's where the bulk of this game's content comes from. Now we're also an ace reporter, but we have a couple of skills when it comes to catching these little creatures called Bugsnax. So if you don't know, this is a creature collection game, but all of the creatures are little animals that have been themed after foods, and it's really super cool. I very much enjoy this kind of game. We grab this handy creature catching tool and use it to catch a Strabby, a little strawberry type guy, who gives us our first achievement. Everybody gets one for catching our first bug snack. And that's our first mission knocked right out of the park. We've caught this Strabby, so now we need to feed it to Philbo, and we just drop that right into his mouth, and it appears on his arm. That doesn't seem super normal to me, but I guess on this island, you know, do as the locals do. Philbo tasks us with catching a couple more Bugsnax in this initial area before we move on, and as we pass through a little hidden waterfall area, we earn the achievement Wonder Falls. As we finish up that second little catching spree that Philbo had us go on, he tells us that he's the mayor around here, which we probably could have figured out from looking at his sash, but it's nice to get the confirmation. And he tells us we can follow him back to Snaxburg, where everybody is. But we don't make it very far on our walk before Philbo has a bit of a confession to make. Elizabeth Megafig actually went missing recently, and the people that lived in Snaxburg had some sort of big falling out, and now nobody really lives in the town except for Philbo, and he was trying to get them back. But fortunately for us, once again we don't have to wait too long before we see what Philbo's talking about, and we meet a guy named Wambus who used to live in Snaxburg, but left after some sort of big fight. So Elizabeth was the main person catching the Bugsnax for everybody to eat, and now they need a new source of food, so Wambus has been growing sauce. Now this sauce will be a little bit important to us later, but for right now he's just an interesting side character. He puts his farmer strength to good use and absolutely smashes Philbo in the face with some ketchup, and then Philbo gets launched by a bunger. So we get introduced to the slingshot here from Wambus. We can put the different sauces into this slingshot, put the sauces down, and different Bugsnax will interact with them in different ways. But we also learned in this area that not all Bugsnax are as easy as just grabbing with the snack trap, because some of them will fight back a little bit harder than others. So we finish up a couple Bugsnax catching related tasks for Wambus, and our skill is so great that it convinces him to move back into Snaxburg, because we don't just need Elizabeth to catch all of the Bugsnax anymore, we've got the reporter here. But we don't get to walk straight to Snaxburg just yet, because we do find that there is one more Snaxburg resident that's moved out this way, named Beffica. So Beffica is kind of like a mean girl, really. She is very mean to Filbo, and she's very into gathering information on all of the other characters throughout the game so that she can blackmail them. So just not super nice, but she does like us because we get things done. Her first act of kindness to us is a pretty big one. We lost our journal when we fell down that bridge earlier, so she gives us a replacement that we can go grab up from her little cave area that she's been living in. So the journal basically just lives on our tab key, and it's basically the Pokédex. We can look at all of the Bugsnax and the biomes that they live in, and whether or not we've caught them, just found them, just scanned them, or not seen them at all. Little listings on all of the different characters in the game, hints for the main quest, all the sorts of stuff like that that you would want in your menu options. After checking out the journal, Filbo is finally ready to finish our trip to Snaxburg, and little side note here, the loading screen for this game is super cool that populates with all of the snacks that you've caught so far, very neat stuff. But here we are in Snaxburg, so we step up onto the little landing near our ship here, and we see that it really is a ghost town, but won't be for long. We're going to bring all of these people back because it's what Elizabeth would have wanted. As Filbo walks us down into the center of town where the majority of characters will hang out after we recruit them, we earn achievement number 3, Gone Home. So now that we're in Snaxburg, we can begin the novel process of doing our job. As we bring different people back, we can interview them, and they give us some little backstory about themselves, nothing super major though normally. This is also where Filbo gives us our major quest for the game, in addition to catching all of the different Bugsnax. We're going to need to go out in various different biomes and find people that used to live in Snaxburg, complete some quests for them, and then convince them to return here to continue with the society. Filbo gives us a couple names to go out and look for, but I figure we already met Beffica, so how hard could it be to get her to come back? We go meet with her, do a couple little sneaky side quests spying on people, and then eventually she agrees to come back to Snaxburg with us, nice and easy. After that, we can finally move on to the beach resort area, Simmering Springs, and we find that there's a character waiting for us, but this one isn't one we can recruit quite yet. This character seems to be some sort of Bugsnax scientist who gives us a little item that allows us to feed a Bugsnax and then assign the body part where that Bugsnax will be assigned. So that's going to be pretty useful for a lot of quests that we have in the future, and a couple side things that aren't really necessary as well. The scientist wanders away, but we do find 2 characters that we can recruit right around the corner, named Wiggle and Gramble. We only catch part of the conversation here, but it seems like Wiggle is trying to get Gramble to follow her out onto the beach for a date, where Gramble will be distracted and Wiggle can steal some of the Bugsnax that he seems to be keeping as pets. But Gramble's a smart guy and he refuses because he kind of likes his pets, and after that Wiggle walks away, and we get a little bit of alone time with each of them. We're already standing in Gramble's little area, so we decide to talk to him first. He's not super excited about heading back to Snaxburg, but he wants to get back to his barn because, like we said before, he is capturing and raising all of the different Bugsnax. So we need to go around and find some of his little ones that have gone missing. You might have noticed from Wiggle's little serenade of Gramble there, but she is a very talented singer, but she's kind of a one-hit wonder, and she is out on the island looking for her next muse to inspire her next great song, and her recruitment task involves finding Bugsnax that can be that muse. But it's not too long before we figure out that Wiggle actually needs us to go to the desert area to find one of her muses, and we don't have access to that yet, so Wiggle's story ends here for the minute until we get access to that new area. With Wiggle out of the way though, now we can focus on recruiting Gramble, and we use a couple of the new tools that we've obtained on our trip so far, and we bring his Bugsnax back to him, and he agrees to return to Snaxburg, back to his barn, where he can be a regular old rancher again. When we follow Gramble back to Snaxburg, we see that he's getting into a little bit of an altercation with Wambus, and we learn that this altercation is kind of part of what sent everybody out on their own in the first place over what they should be doing with all of the captured Bugsnax. And I'm not going to show many of these, but we do get a lot of these interpersonal conflicts after we return new people back to Snaxburg. But that little disagreement doesn't stop us from conducting our interview with Gramble immediately after. Having Gramble back also gives us another benefit though. It unlocks the donation box right outside of the barn that we can stop by and pop new Bugsnax in to help populate Gramble's collection. And it's not just helping Gramble out, because the more we donate, the more Bugsnax we're able to keep in our pockets and carry around for different purposes. And now that we've managed to bring 3 people back, Filbo decides it's time to put some of our tax dollars to good use and throw a huge party for everybody. And the party's okay, small team, 4 people, kind of like one of those work parties at the end of the year, the big celebration where they bring in the pizzas and the small little sodas and everything like that. And it ended with a gigantic screaming match, so really it's more like a family reunion. The only really good thing about the party is that Filbo gives us some drugs to experiment with. We take our first Bugsnax, and it doesn't really agree with us very well, and we kind of make the assumption that we must actually be allergic to Bugsnax, which is pretty convenient for us. We can just collect them for other people. And thankfully, somebody must have partied a little too hard last night and accidentally built a bridge for some reason. But it works out for us. It gives us access to the desert area Scorched Gorge, which we didn't have before. A new area is great for us though, because it's got a load of new Bugsnax to catch, and also a couple more characters to meet, as you probably could have guessed. First one we find is Cromdo. Now, Cromdo is a little bit of a scam artist. He's trying to sell us a bridge, literally. And I don't know why we need one, because we seem to be able to magically craft them whenever we want, like we did last night, but we want this bridge specifically, and if we want to get him back to town, we need to complete some quests for him and buy it. And before we can work on Cromdo's tasks, we actually find the second character in this area, Triffany. Now, Triffany happens to be Wambus's wife, and she's also the token architect from the group, who is inexplicably from Minnesota for some reason. And same deal, she's had a little bit of a falling out with Wambus, but she's willing to go back if we can help her complete a couple side quests and figure out some stuff about these bones that are hidden in these ruins. Easy stuff. We use some of the nearby fauna to bust down some walls to access ancient ruins in a way that definitely isn't dangerous to us or the ruins at all. And we do such a great job narrowly avoiding disaster that we convince Triffany that the best place for her is back in Snaxburg with the rest of the gang, and to work on some of her relationship issues with Wambus. Now that we're in the desert, we have access to some of these Bugsnax that Wiggle wanted us to grab to be her new muse, but we find that in the desert, that can be a little easier said than done. When we return to Snaxburg, we find that Filbo has a little bit of a surprise for us. We have a mailbox, and kind of a house. This house was being worked on before the great exodus of Snaxburg, so it's not quite done yet, but at least we have something inside the general area with the other people, and we don't have to sleep in the woods anymore. And this mailbox we have access to now is pretty cool as well. As we bring people back to Snaxburg, they'll send us letters with quests that we can complete. Now, there is an absolute ton of these, I think 110 plus some that are hidden that you don't get rewards for until you just happen to do them, but these are really great and they give you little decorations for your house. Now that we have a reason to hang out around Snaxburg at night, we happen to stumble across Gramble, who is sleepwalking around the center of town. Now, a lot of the people in this town have little secrets and things that they get up to in the middle of the night, but this one will be particularly interesting later on. We double back to Beffica's cave, and we can't resist grabbing the diary that we see that she left out, but it's actually a fake decoy, but it does give us achievement number 4, Perf Dirt. After doing a couple more tasks for Cromdo, he tells us that we need to find him a couple of Bopsicles. Now, that sounds like a cold Bugsnax, and we don't really have access to a cold biome yet, so we can't recruit him in this area, and you might start to notice a little bit of a pattern here. But that pattern won't keep us down for too long because we did manage to get the pop ticks that allow us to feed them to Wiggle, and she decides they're not her muse, but there's no real point in waiting out on the beach forever because her muse isn't here. She agrees to move back to Snaxburg, and we get exactly what we wanted, another person added to the squad. Now, Wiggle is obviously a superstar, so she is not shy about getting interviewed, and we hit her up right away for one. And since we've got Wiggle recorded now, we may as well go ahead and grab an interview with Triffany as well. We take a little break from dealing with the people of this world because the drama's getting to be a little much over there, and we spend some time working on our Pokedex, earning us achievement number 5, Quartermaster, for collecting 25 different species of Bugsnax. But every action has an equal opposite reaction, and it's time to get back to politics with another one of Filbo's legendary parties. This party segment is the first little hint of that psychological horror tag that we had on the Steam homepage for Bugsnax. We're all gathered around the fire with all the people we've recruited back to town so far, and everybody decides to start telling some ghost stories. And that's all well and good until we hear a crash come from the nearby mill in town. And everybody's a little on edge, so we're gonna take Filbo and go investigate into what this mysterious noise is. Fortunately for us, the loud crash wasn't caused by some monster or a political opponent to Filbo, but instead it's another member of the town, apparently named Chandlo, who was just stopping by before he heads back into the mountains where he lives with some supplies. After we report back to the town that the crash was nothing to be afraid of, we actually pretty much just go to bed, and that's a good sign, right? No screaming match tonight. And we know it must have been another wild night because we wake up and there is another bridge built, this time heading out to the Sugar Pine Woods, where we can find some more Bugsnax and some more people to recruit back to town. And after a little bit of walking, we do manage to track down the 2 characters that live in this area, named Chandlo, who we met last night, and Snorpy. Now, these guys, they're like Bert and Ernie, just 2 dudes living together everywhere they go, nothing weird about it, don't think too hard. Now, Chandlo is a pretty classic gym bro, all about staying swole, and his main reason for doing that is to help keep his good buddy Snorpy safe. And his roommate, they were roommates, is Snorpy, the nerdy scientist who makes a lot of the inventions that we use to catch Bugsnax. So these guys are kind of a package deal. We're gonna need to complete some quests for both of them to convince them both to come back. And we do get some cool rewards in the form of new snack catching gear. We shoot some hoops with Chandlo, and after a couple other small tasks, we pretty much have Chandlo on our side ready to come back, but we still need to do a little bit more convincing for Snorpy. Now that we've proven our loyalty by helping out Chandlo with a couple of tasks, Snorpy tells us his big secret project that he's been working on. He is pretty sure that he's being pursued by the Illuminati, and he's got a couple conspiracy theories about it. Maybe Snorpy's not our favorite guy to have conversations with, but we can still do a couple of tasks for him. And as long as he keeps giving us this super cool new gear, who can complain about his theories, right? And now that we have both Chandlo and Snorpy satisfied, they can both make the long trek back to Snaxburg, and we've got 2 more people recruited to the team. And that's not even all. Now that we've managed to take a trip to the icy area, we've managed to catch a couple bopsicles that we can put on Cromdo's feet, and he is now convinced to head back to Snaxburg, easy as that. And now we've been given access to a new bridge. We'll get to that bridge in a little bit. First, we need to do our interviews with Snorpy, Chandlo, and Cromdo, though. The mayor notices the hard work we've been putting in, so he tells us to take a little bit of a break. But we're awoken in the middle of the night when we hear Beffica scream out. We approach the big group that has gathered up, and it seems that some sort of mysterious creature wandered into town and Beffica and Gramble saw it. So naturally it's up to us as the reporter to go around and try to find any clues that might have been left by this creature. We find that the town sign has been engraved with "No More Bugsnax," which seems like quite the threat. We report our findings back to the town, and it seems like everybody is just about to go back to living out on their own instead of together again, But Filbo actually steps up and he manages to convince everybody that staying together is much safer than going out on your own. And that also means there's a couple more members of town that we haven't found yet, and we need to redouble our efforts to bring those people back, and then everybody can work together to find Elizabeth. Now that we have a real fire lit under us to collect the last few people and bring them back into town, we cross Cromdo's Bridge to head into Sizzling Sands, an even wider open desert area that has a lot of new Bugsnax to catch, and one more person to recruit. But unfortunately, the character that lives out here is Shelda. She is probably the character that I connected with the least in this game. She's like a prophet who is worshipping some great figure called Mother Nature, and she's like wise and all this stuff, but it actually turns out that she's a fraud. She says that she doesn't eat Bugsnax, but she really is. We're not really going to get into it, but yeah, I just didn't connect with her very well. We've spent a fair amount of time collecting Bugsnax at this point, and our efforts really show when we earn achievement number 6 in the Arms of the Gramble for maxing out our donations to the donation box, and in turn maxing out our backpack space. And if we needed a little bit more encouragement to get on catching those snacks, we actually earned the achievement halfway there, immediately after, for collecting 50 Bugsnax species. And the 50th species that we caught there was actually one that we needed to deliver to Shelda to convince her to come back to town, and so we deliver that black Raspy, and so she does return to Snaxburg. Like legendary Pokemon, there are legendary Bugsnax, so these only spawn once, and the catching process is a little bit more involved. So I'm not going to show all of these, but I will show the first one here that we do with Chandlo. While walking to the legendary Bugsnax though, we do hit him with some cheese and then scan him with our scanner to earn the achievement Say Cheese. When you go out on these Bugsnax legendary missions, normally you're going with another member of the town, and they get taken out right at the start, and then it's all on you to finish up the catching mission. Also during this boss fight, we earned 2 achievements, Double Trapper for catching 2 Bugsnax in one trap, and Launch Party for launching a Bugsnax into another Bugsnax with our launching device. We didn't really mean to do either of these achievements, but they just happened to happen in this fight. The boss fight itself isn't actually that hard though. You can't like die in these missions or anything. Really, you're just trying to solve a puzzle that will eventually force the legendary snack to knock themselves out, and then you feed that legendary snack to your companion, nice and easy. Our fun with the legendary Bugsnax ends though when we have to return to town and do an interview with, Shelda. We recruit Triffany and Wambus to clear out a little path for us leading out of the snow area into what really probably should have been the final area, but I did things in kind of a weird order here. So with that avalanche cleared out of the way, we have access to Frosted Peak, the bigger snow area. Now, like I said, I probably should have come to this area last. I accidentally missed one little side area, but it's okay. It doesn't really mess anything up. It's fine to do it in this order. But same thing as all the other areas, bunch of new Bugsnax to catch, and a couple mysteries to figure out and explore around with here. The first mystery being this weird solid stone door area with a tent set up nearby, really more of an igloo than a tent, but I digress, and a couple statues of some of the nearby Bugsnax. Really weird stuff. But we begin to get some of our answers when we spot a character named Eggabell. Now, we haven't really talked about Eggabell up to this point. Eggabell is Elizabeth's partner, and up to this point we haven't really seen much of her. Most people are talking about Lizbert, but they are together in that initial video package that we received, and when Elizabeth went missing, Eggabell has been out here looking for her ever since. She tells us to go home, but she's being a little shady, so we follow her back to this stone door. Turns out she thinks that Elizabeth is behind this door, and she has been trying to figure out how to get through it for some time. So she's going to think on that, and we'll come back to it a little bit later. Eggabell thinking about that, though, does give us time to visit the final area of the game, Boiling Bay. So this is the one that I missed previously, but like I said, didn't really mess that much up. This is the continuation of the beach area, lots of new things to catch, and one more person to find. The final person that we need to bring back into town is Floofty. Now if Floofty looks familiar to you, It's because you saw her earlier in this video. She's the scientist that gave us that technology to assign Bugsnax to different limbs. And she has a couple more experiments that she wants to work on before she's willing to go back to town. Floofty refuses to be one-upped by Snorpy in giving us cool little gadgets, and now we have the ability to transform any limb back into any of the previous Bugsnax that we've fed to that character. So we can use this to kind of create some fun combinations with the things that we've fed different people. And this scientific discovery is so great that Floofty decides that she is willing to head back into Snaxburg with the rest of the people. And when we return to town, we conduct our interview with Floofty, which gives us our 11th achievement, talking about Bugsnax for interviewing every single Grumpus in town. So now we're getting towards the end of the game, and we're going to get into a little bit of an achievement rush here, quite a few in a row. And the first one is the achievement I'm Stuffed for fully transforming one character. In this case, we do Floofty because it was a quest for her. We earn the achievement Clothesline for knocking a Bugsnax out by attaching our tripwire to our buggy ball. So I'm sure they don't mind, but while Elizabeth and Eggabell were out of town, we've been staying in their house and watching some of their home movies. And after we've watched all 5 of their home movies that they had locked up in this little case, we earn the achievement Documentarian. They'll probably be okay with that, right? We earn the achievement Combo Meal for attaching a Sody, Bunger, and Frieder to one character. I actually did this one on accident, didn't even realize this was an achievement. But we did Combo Meal on Wambus, so let's get the achievement Sunday Best for attaching all of the items related to a Sunday to Triffany. We earn the achievement Grab Bag for grabbing all of the snack pods out of one specific biome. 5 spawn at a time, and this will be very useful to know for later on. One more quick stop before we get back to the main story. We have completed so many of these mailbox side missions that our stuff is kind of overflowing, so Filbo and Chandlo decided to build us an upgrade to our house. Now that we've given Eggabell some time to think, and we've collected the last of the documents that she needed, we can begin the process of opening up these doors. First, we need to collect 6 creatures to fill the statues with, which is pretty easy to do, but we still need to hit the pressure plates in front of the door. And we need a 3rd person to do that, so it's time to recruit Filbo to the cause. Filbo is obviously down to help. He's a public servant. He's here to serve after all. So we all come up to the door, step on our pressure plates in the order that we think that it should be done in based on Elizabeth's notes, and it doesn't quite work. It actually causes an avalanche that absolutely crushed Filbo there, but we managed to escape, and Eggabell needs to take some more time to think about what the plan should be. But good news for us, we earn the achievement Know Thy Neighbor for recruiting everyone back into Snaxburg. We had that little sprint where we got a bunch of achievements a minute ago, but now that we've done that little task with Eggabell, we're really at the point where we could end the game at any point. But I've been getting a little bit frustrated with all of the lag that I've been experiencing throughout this game at this point, so I actually looked at the list of achievements, something that I don't normally do, and decided to just go ahead and bang out as many of them in a row as I can before I finish the game to try to speed up this process and get it done as quickly as I can. Honestly, if this game wasn't one that I wanted to play so badly, I probably wouldn't have persevered, but we do earn our next achievement, Bossy Bugs, here for catching all of the legendary Bugsnax. We mentioned before that Gramble can be found sleepwalking at night. Now, he won't normally eat Bugsnax because he raises them as his children, but while he's sleepwalking, you can actually feed him, which is how we earn the next achievement, Midnight Snack. We earn the achievement Sidetracked for completing all of the side quests in the game, and that is a really good sign that you know you're getting towards the end when you get the achievement for finishing all the side quests. We got a couple mail quests to work on catching all of the Bugsnax in each of the individual areas, and after a little bit of work, we managed to earn the achievement Gotta Catch 'em All for catching 100 unique species of Bugsnax. We earned the 23rd achievement Candid Cryptid by spotting some sort of weird creature off in the distance with our scanner. And speaking of our mail quests, we have done quite a few of them at this point, but the one that we've been waiting for is getting a roof decoration. Here we earn our achievement Live Laugh Hut for fully decorating our house with different props. We solve a puzzle that connects Boiling Bay to Sizzling Sands, which earns us the achievement That Reminds Me of a Puzzle. Okay, so this next little bit is a little bit more achievement guide than the rest of the video, but we have two things that we need to do: transform all Grumpuses completely, and also collect 10 different hats. So that little board that I just looked at shows an area of the map where there is one Bugsnax wearing a hat. Once you capture that Bugsnax, you unlock that hat, and we need to do that 10 times. So our method is to go to that new area that spawns each day, find the Bugsnax, and capture them to unlock the hat until we get it 10 times. And it was a little frustrating because sometimes you get biomes that are harder to search than others, and sometimes you just can't find the Bugsnax, but eventually you earn the achievement Dapper Capper. And at the same time, while we're working on resetting every day for the hats, we also learned that you can grab all of the snack pods in a biome in about 30 seconds. So we run through each day before we sleep and collect 5 more of these blue snack pods. I started collecting these blue snack pods because they just seemed like the quickest to get. You can collect 5 in about 30 seconds, and they're really easy to feed. But when you keep feeding and feeding and feeding, and all of your characters kind of get transformed into the same thing, you get kind of a weird effect. We saved Filbo for last, and when we finish his full body transformation, we earn the achievement Feeding Frenzy. But when we take a step back to look at all of the people that we've transformed, man, we've made a lot of freaks. So now we have just 3 achievements remaining, and we are really at the end game point. So we take a little bit of a detour now. A little bit after the game released, they added a free DLC that involves this island that you just saw spring up in the distance. Now this is a mission with Chandlo and Snorpy, but first we have to go collect a couple of friends to come along as well. We gather up the other scientific minds, Floofty, Triffany, and Shelda is coming along too, to help us explore this new island. So we set sail for the new island. Now I'm not going to cover everything in this DLC because it doesn't really matter for our achievements, but we'll hit some of the high points. So the thing with this island is that it has Bugsnax like our former island, but they are really big. This kind of reminds me of in the Pokemon Orange Island series, the island with all the pink Pokemon on it, that sort of thing. Basically, we can take this shrinking spice, throw it at the big Bugsnax, transform them into little Bugsnax, and then catch them. So skipping way ahead, the basic thing here was that everybody split off and did their own research. Everybody was kind of successful except for Triffany. Triffany has some ruins that she needs help clearing out, but she doesn't think it'll be able to happen without everyone working together, and everyone isn't really getting along. But through our adventures with Chandlo, we managed to get everyone operating on the same page, and we managed to convince Triffany that everybody can work together, which allows us to open up the ruins and access the end sequence of this DLC. I'm sure this DLC ends naturally the way everybody was expecting it to, with a giant fight with a boss cheese platter. After we fondue the fight with the cheese platter, we managed to evacuate everybody back onto the beach where we entered the island. So we all reunite, we talk to everybody, and then we can board our raft to head back and finish up the main game. But for finishing the DLC, we do earn the achievement Deep Impact. Now that we have everybody moved back into Snaxburg, we can finally have one major celebration with Filbo and the gang to close it out. This party sequence is actually pretty cool. As we talk to people, everybody has an excuse for why they can't go out onto the dance floor, and so we need to solve those problems. And by solving those problems, we get people to communicate with each other for the first time and solve some of their issues, and eventually everybody moves out to start dancing. We also get our Bert and Ernie resolution at this party. Snorpy has been pining after Chandlo this whole time, but it turns out that Chandlo was pretty sure they've been dating for all these years, so we get a nice conclusion to their story here. But just as everybody is really getting into the party, an earthquake strikes. Basically New York City. Filbo gives a great speech about how we all need to stick together in these trying times, just when Eggabell returns and tells us that she's figured out the secret to opening up the mountain pass. So we climb back up to the frosted peak with Filbo and Eggabell, and we return to the door that stumped us before. It turns out that the notes were actually backwards, because this time we do manage to crack the door open. But as we all run into this ancient pass, we find that we fall through the floor and enter the Under Snax. Now this place is kinda creepy. It seems like we're 100% surrounded by different foods, which is just a little confusing. And it gets even more confusing when we enter the Grand Courtroom and find Elizabeth, but she has been completely transformed by Bugsnax. Elizabeth tells us that these Bugsnax are actually parasites, and the entire island is made of them. Every group that has come here before has consumed Bugsnax, which has in turn consumed them, and created this mass before us. Elizabeth was already struggling to control the Bugsnax to keep them from consuming us as is, but Agabel decided to make the ultimate sacrifice, joining her partner to help hold off the oncoming forces, so they launch us back up to the surface where we need to try to evacuate the rest of the squad. When we get back, we find that Snorpy has been making preparations to take off in our air boat, and he's also been arming the citizens with different new weapons he's been working on to help hold off the oncoming Bugsnax forces. This part of the game is pretty cool. We run through the various pairs of characters in the town, and we use new devices to help defend them from the oncoming Bugsnax forces. Now there actually is a fail state here, but by fully transforming everybody beforehand, we can't actually really fail at this point. Actually turns out it was really good we did all of those snack pod transformations earlier, because as we get the last few people loaded onto the ship, we earn the achievement Survivor for safely evacuating all of the Grumpus with everyone surviving. As our ship takes off into the sky, we wave goodbye to Elizabeth and Agabel, who gave their lives to protect us from the incoming disasters. We land safely back on the mainland, earning us the achievement Vacation's End for fully completing the story of Bugsnax. So we get to walk down the beach and talk to everybody one more time. After we return to civilization, we take Filbo with us to our boss's office to discuss the report we've been writing. But unfortunately, we were fired for going on the mission in the first place. But Filbo tells us that he's been thinking about running for mayor in the city, so maybe this is setting up a potential second game? And we get even a little bit more setup for a future potential sequel. After the credits roll, we get a little snippet overhearing our boss talking about some big Bugsnax conspiracy. Interesting. So that, my friends, was Bugsnax. It took me about 15 hours to fully complete the game, but there are a couple caveats there. I did spend a lot of time messing around in my settings, and also I rushed through the game a lot more than I normally would because of all the lag issues that I was experiencing. Like I said at the start, I tried everything to fix those. I couldn't find anything online about it. I tried updating my graphics drivers, restarting my computer, loading it on different drives. Nothing was helping. And the weird thing that fixed it was after I went to the DLC island, it stopped happening, and then when I came back to the mainland, it continued to not happen. So I have no idea what happened there, really. But other than those lag spikes that I was experiencing, this game was awesome. I've been really looking forward to playing this one for a couple years now, and I'm very glad that I was finally able to do it, even with the couple of struggles. I'm very excited for a potential sequel to this game. I really hope that they make one, because I would love to play around in this world a little bit more without all of those major lag spikes. And little side note, the people that made this game were actually the same dev studio that made Octodad, another game that I really love. Didn't play it on the channel, but I have played it before. Awesome game, so I'm very excited to see what game this little studio brings out next, because all of their games seem super awesome. And I hope if you've made it this far, you thought the video was pretty awesome as well. Maybe you could help me out by leaving a like, subscribe, maybe a comment on another game that you'd like to see me take on for getting all of the achievements on. But I hope you have a wonderful day. See ya!